Jacked Up Review Show. It's a Jacked Up Review Show. Jacked Up Review Show. It's a Jacked Up Review Show.
Join us as we cover many an insane movie and numerous cult TV phenomenons. Are you ready to get jacked up? Are you with us? Then listen on.
Listener discretion is advised. It's a Jacked Up Review Show. It's a Jacked Up Review Show. Jacked Up Review Show. It's a Jacked Up Review Show. It's a Jacked Up Review Show. Jacked Up Review Show.
All right. So, John and I are going to just once again agree to talk about food. And so, let's talk a little bit about ice cream brands. Oh, God. There's so many, and yet there's so many particular flavors. You can tell what came from where.
Oh yeah, that's what it seems like with some of these particular brands, especially ones that.
Restaurants, to take home brands. Yeah. Talked a bit about Nestle. I don't think they're really the leader in the brand right now. It seems like Haagen-Dazs is one. They're doing all the various coffee flavors, and then if you're not getting one of the other main brands, then you're probably getting one of those cheap ass, great value crapola from Kroger. But I typically get Brahms, and then I'll get some of the other ones that they have in their grocery section.
We also got ones like Bluebell.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
Bluebell is probably the number one leader, just most commonly served at every restaurant.
That's what people mostly get at grocery stores.
Especially, Bravers is another one.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
I think you said Ben and Jerry's you found pretty forgettable, and I was like,
Yeah, very forgettable. It was,
Talenta, I think, is another one that I've seen. I thought they were pretty good, but
we also have ones like Blue Bunny. That have
yeah, how is Blue
flavors.
Bunny? Because I've seen
It's
them.
actually not bad. I even had them when I had to. It's a weird story to say, but I guess I'll say it now. But somehow, because I had the flu a few years ago, and somehow having an ice cream managed to, I don't know, made me feel better somehow. I don't know how that was possible. But
Freeze those germs. I don't know.
I guess so.
Uh,
But I was like, well, now I have some respect for Blue Bunny. Especially at that point. But
Perfect. Oh shit. There's a bunch of these. I've seen it's ice cream sandwich, but I haven't had that one.
yeah, it depends on which ones you get for ice cream sandwiches. At least the ones I tried. But you also have like certain places that serve ice cream, like Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, it's been a minute before I even attempted Baskin Robbins. If it was very brief. Marble Slab, I think they seem to have that franchise just about anywhere, and you can basically get custom ice cream cakes.
Oh, that's true. I haven't had that in years, so I can't say.
I will say I don't care for how they mashed up the M&Ms, because half the time the M&Ms were frozen, so it was like, shit, this is hard candy now.
Oh, yeah.
Eating a jawbreaker. I don't want a jawbreaker ice cream.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
one thing.
Traeger's is a part of Eddie's, EDY, so I didn't know that.
Didn't
Tillamook,
know that.
I think I've seen them do like some giant ice cream sandwiches, so interesting. Just looking at a few of these others. But man, half the time it was also just find a really strong cone, you know?
Yeah, because sometimes you can't always get that. In some places, at least.
I do
And
caramel. Bunny tracks is often another one. Yeah, man.
and
Almost everyone does Oreo cookie. Sometimes it's just an Oreo just smashed up and just fit inside the ice cream.
and there's one place that I don't really go there all the time, but over here is one called Bob's, which is like a frozen custard ice cream place.
Wow.
Yeah, you can get like different flavors there, and it's not bad, but as I've always said, you can't eat it all the time.
Totally.
But it's one place I recommend if you're around the area.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one that at least is close to me, the closest to my house. But I think of
Oh,
other
totally.
ones.
Have you
There's,
tried the Belgian chocolate Magnum?
Have I tried that?
You'll see
If I
that,
have, I don't remember.
but it's just so unreal how it's just like it literally looks. I just laughed at first because sometimes it was gold, and I don't know why. I thought it was the Trojan Magnum condom vermin. I'm like, what's in there? It's like, nope. It's get your head out of the gutter. It is a Magnum ice cream brand, and it's just like giant ass, just brown and yellow coating around the
Okay.
Skinny Cow's another one. It's like a Greek frozen yogurt bar. I haven't tried Greek yogurt in forever, so.
Yeah, it's been years since I tried that.
Halo Top and So Delicious is definitely another one that I see.
Yeah.
It's sugar free but pretty delicious. A lot of them are mixing in mint and almond, strawberry mixes.
That's what some of them try to do.
Dairy Queen, of course, we talked about. I'm just
Well,
like,
yeah.
no.
And it shows how much I don't remember that place at all.
That I
So,
I think the worst part was even, believe it or not, the chocolate syrup that they were using, because it's just like, what are you putting in that?
probably something that they should be putting in there, but they won't admit that.
So
It's, if they are, then they should have investigated, but just me.
yeah. Sure, there's a few others. It's like
I mean, if you want to also bring up like the ones that McDonald's would have with ice cream.
yeah, we talked about Wendy's was kind of had
Yeah.
the yogurt figured out.
Yeah, the Frosties. They would have.
Frostings. But I don't
Which
call anything about Burger King.
I don't think they have any at all, at least
Yeah,
not from my
it's just
remember.
giant ass Cokes.
So
Oh,
they
hey,
did. I don't remember.
W. I'm sure they have to have some ice cream and root beer flow mixture.
I think they do. I just haven't had it, to be honest.
Good. If you go to a Rose's Cafe, they'll often have a really delicious Mexican, ice cream style, mixed in brownie. And BJ's Brewhouse, of course, has all kinds of desserts, and especially they also too have a brownie mixed in with ice cream. I guarantee you Denny's definitely had one, especially a frosting shake.
Well, like I said, if they did, I've been at Denny's, but I've never tried the ice cream, so
Yeah,
that's
you can't go there all the day unless you want to.
well, no, but it depends upon the day, usually, especially that place. I know there's one that's also close to here. I'm not kidding when I say this with the name of this place. It's called Just Chillin'. Yes. I think that's called just chillin'.
Chill out.
Just chillin' sweet treats. That's what it's called. And
Chili treats. Speaking
said
of which, Chili's did have a pretty delicious ice cream that you can get.
oh, they do. 'Cause especially if you get like one of the desserts and then you get the ice cream on top of it. Oh yes, that's me right there. I'll admit that. I'll admit that, folks. I'm not ashamed. I'll say it.
No, I'm not ashamed.
But no, that's one ice cream that I should think was because it doesn't taste as unnatural like someone like Dairy Queen somehow.
Yep.
That's at least
Many restaurants would just kind of find the easy way out half the time, where they would just say, "Hey, just get a typical ice cream brand, discounted from the bar or
yeah,
the frozen."
and
Yeah,
you can tell right away, especially with taste.
you can tell.
Like seriously, you didn't even try.
Right? Did you just put it in the let it defrost for a few minutes?
Like you just let it sit there. It's like, oh okay, there you go. We'll serve that. I'm like, well thanks guys.
Just heat up the ice cream server, metal, and then, let the dominoes fall where they do. But yeah, don't just get it just now out, or don't let it melt as soon as you take it outside. That's when you can tell it's been out for quite some time.
Oh yeah. Well, some places don't care.
I don't
Nope,
care.
we'll just serve that. And if they like it, they like it. They don't, then screw them.
She'll serve it.
But trying to think of other ones. I mean, like I mentioned, there's I'm forgetting the one place I used to go to when I was a kid, but they actually had really good ice cream. I used to live in New Orleans at the time.
Woo.
And I can't believe I'm blanking the name now. It's gonna kill me later, and I suddenly remember that. But it was more old school with the ice cream, but they still managed to make it taste good and not make it like some of those restaurants. They actually felt like it was homemade compared to other restaurants at the time.
Good.
And it's still around because I know I passed by it sometime last year and they're still doing well somehow, even during this whole pandemic.
Somehow.
And
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that. So
But I will say it is delicious to have some kind of delicious sandwich and soup, and then mix it in with some ice cream.
yeah, that's the perfect thing, especially not only for like the summer, but also even for like the fall. But that's the perfect thing to have.
There you go.
You have your dinner and your dessert. So there you go.
Dinner and
Can't
dessert.
complain. Well, lunch and dessert. Some people do that too.
However,
Yeah.
it has to happen, yeah.
Yeah. That's just how strange some people can be. But
Oh boy. I think the hard part is just reminding yourself, don't, eat it too fast. You will get an ice cream headache. It's having all this frozen stuff.
yeah. Well, I've been lucky. I don't eat it too fast. I'm usually very slow. So,
There you go.
like, yeah, don't. Because I've had some siblings do that, and oh, that was a nightmare.
I especially don't want my teeth are really good at getting frozen, so it's like eat very casually and slowly.
Yeah. That's what you have to do, especially some ice cream, because sometimes you can feel it. And it's happened to me once or twice, but not too often because I'm usually careful. Yeah.
There you go. What's it called? I didn't have an issue with. I think Jack in the Box had some decent ice cream sundaes.
have to try them one day. I haven't tried them still.
For sure.
And I know I'm back to McDonald's here, but I know they had their ice cream sundaes, but I never tried it, so I can't really say too much on that. And one of my siblings used to get that a lot. Like I said, I've never tried it, so I can't say. There's, I think.
That. No, I'm just kidding.
It's because I must go back to, like, you had to do like the ice cream shakes they would do. You could mix them up and you could kind of do shakes even.
Did Louisiana ever have the purple cow? That was
No.
one. That was a franchise for a while, and I didn't know how far it extended, but it was definitely one of those. If you want so much milk and sugar and you want diarrhea, go there. It's so good, and yet it's just not worth the restroom trip afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think it's over here at all. Because I was, oh crap, it is. It's in Baton Rouge. Oh, well. I just realized.
Dallas.
Well, I never heard of it, so I should taste it now.
It was very tasty, and yet, God, way to really annoy one's stomach.
Oh boy. That sounds great. Mm.
Yeah, no, if there's any other ones you want to suggest, I'm down, but if not, I mean, I think that pretty much covers it.
No, I can't think of anything else, to be fair.
And it's such a shame, because when you come across one that really does stand out so well, it is often a mom and pop store, or it's, them taking a mixture of Haagen-Dazs and Bluebell and just mashing it together with some other kind of just, again, I mean, ice cream is pretty easy to make. Milk, butter, flour.
Like, if you mess that up, then that's just kind of sad, to be fair. That's, like I said, it's not many ingredients you can put in there, just saying.
Not just the ingredients, no.
And even certain people can screw that up. I've seen it happen.
It is definitely possible. Well, thank you for being on here. And
it's always good being on here.
Anytime, man. Just chatting away, stuff that's on our mind. Just venting it. Alrighty. Well, be safe out there.
We'll return after these messages.
Hey, feeling down? Feeling low? Not enough podcasts about movies in your life? Why not try
They must be destroyed on sight.
the new Podcast Cure-All? Sure to get you right with the world and on a path to better living. We have exploitation, we have Italian horror, we have zombies, we have slashers, we have crime films, we have spaghetti westerns, we even have sci-fi and sex comedies. So take a dose of
They must be destroyed on sight.
as needed, and let the hosts, Lee Russell, Daniel Harper, Paul Romali, and the odd guest host cure what ails you.
Warning, may cause atrophy, African consumption, black fever, bone shave, chin cough, colic, cramp colic, dropsy of the brain, elephantitis, grocer's itch, jaundice, mania, miasma, mortification, palsy, Pott's disease, rheumatism, scurvy, St. Anthony's fire, summer complaint, and worm fit in some people. Consult a physician before listening.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am in the most sincerest of senses disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
doll popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was going
How
to be a
could you
rough
watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Hey everybody, I'm Corey.
And I'm Zach, and we're the hosts of Podcasting After Dark, a cast dedicated to late-night horror and sci-fi of the 80s and 90s, often found on HBO and Cinemax.
You know, the movies your parents didn't want you watching as a kid. You can find us every other week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and Stitcher.
This is what you want.
This is what you get.
Late, it's time, let's check our queue, baby. Pair it with a couple brews, baby. We love good movies. We love the bad ones too. So we watch them all and pass their lessons on to you. Oh yeah. Everything I learned from movies helps to make life a little bit groovy. With a one-liner plot holes and gratuitous movies. It's time to get busy with your friend Steve and Izzy at eilfm.podbean.com.
Welcome to Who Was She podcast. I am your host, Tara Jabari. After a decade working in documentaries, marketing, and all things digital media, I found that podcasting is a strong medium to share stories. After years of producing for others, I decided to start my own biographical podcast. Who Was She will focus on the life of a woman throughout Baha'i history. The first season is about Lydia Zamenhof. Lydia's story explores the subjects of the power of language and faith. Her father invented the universal language Esperanto, and she came from a Jewish family and became a Baha'i. She grew up during World War I and was killed during World War II in a concentration camp, despite heroic efforts to save her life. How can one person's life intersect with so many others, connect across borders, and inspire a biography which inspired this podcast? Over the next few weeks, I will share her story with you and the lives that were most affected by her and those who affected her life as well. They include her father, Ludwig Zamenhof, her spiritual mother, American journalist Martha Root, and the Baha'i German soldier Fritz Mako, who worked for the resistance undercover while having to serve the Nazi Party. I want to thank the author Wendy Heller and George Ronald Publishing for their blessing to let me use Heller's biography, Lydia, The Life of Lydia Zamenhof, Daughter of Esperanto, as a main and instrumental resource for this podcast. So please subscribe and learn about this amazing woman who traveled through 3 continents in an effort to bring unity through the power of language. You can also find more information on our Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest at Who Was She Podcast. Music was composed and performed by Sam Red. I am your host, Tara Jabari. Join us next time as we begin our journey about Lydia Zamenhof.
Are you sick of the same old stale podcasts? Well, then join Vanessa and Darren as they dissect movies of all kinds. The 2 lifelong cinema lovers bring their favorites, curiosities, and first-time watches to the operating table and inject them with a healthy dose of snark. Then there's the waiting room, where they examine books and short stories. So just look for them on Apple Podcasts and where fine podcasts are available. They're part of the Legion Podcast Network. Follow them on Twitter at VDClinicPod. Join them on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/VDClinicPod. Or email them at vdclinicpod@gmail.com. They're ready to cure what ails you. And still, they just might be a little contagious.
Hi there. It's Heather from the Watching Netflix Without You podcast. Did you know that there are over 1,200 Netflix original feature films and documentaries? And that number is only growing. So I've made it my mission to watch as many as I possibly can. Then, with a delightful guest or guests, disclaimer, more often than not my brother Ryan, we spend an episode rating, reviewing, and discussing a film at length. The first half of every episode is spoiler-free for those who haven't seen it yet, and in the second half, after a very clear spoiler warning, we dive into it. And that's really about it. You can listen to Watching Netflix Without You on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more.
We now continue with our program.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up review show.